I think a lot of people, at least in like my personal life, like when I talk to folks who are just like regular people, a lot of them feel powerless in this moment. I can't imagine how much more powerless, how much less power
Yeah.
someone who's undocumented probably feels in this moment. And we've been hearing a lot of concern from residents in the city about how do we protect our immigrant neighbors and, kind of bracing for, escalation of ICE activity. Their budget was, monumentally scaled up in the latest federal budget.
Yeah.
We are seeing deployment of National Guard resources in Chicago. So, we will probably see some kind of increased activity here. All that is to say, I'm curious, like, what was your experience growing up undocumented here? And like, for people that, the 9-year-old version of you who's here in 2025, how different is that for them, and what resources are really available for them now that maybe weren't there when you were growing up?
Yeah, it's really fascinating because I think in many ways it was hard, but it wasn't as terrifying as it is right now. It was hard in the sense that nobody was talking about this. It was a family secret. I was told over and over by my parents, don't talk about this, don't tell other people that you're undocumented. And I remember being in high school and all my friends were getting their driver's licenses and figuring out what college they were going to and making plans to do all the things that you can do when you have status, like even buy cold medicine because you have an ID. And I couldn't do any of that. But at the same time, I wasn't worried that I was going to step outside and somebody without a badge with a face mask was going to take me away somewhere else. And my family would have no idea what happened to me. So those same level of rates of deportations weren't happening back then. So it's like, what is better? The not having the community, the people around you to support you, or what's happening right now where it's very dangerous actually for many undocumented people. And in Detroit, we have such a vast, diverse community. We do a lot of work with immigrant communities that are trying to figure out how it is that they get the resources they need for their families. And it's constantly this choice of, do you step outside your bubble and you organize and you fight to get what your people want? But that puts you at a certain level of risk because all of a sudden you're more known, you're recognized, you have a platform. And we are seeing actually the Trump administration is going after community leaders. They're going after, honestly, what I see is kind of a decapitation strategy of how do we focus on the key community leaders who are guiding the immigrant rights movement to make a statement, really, that like we're going after you.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard that at the city council table. There have been residents who have come down and said, we want our elected leaders to take a really firm stance on this and let the Trump administration know that, Detroit's not going to get involved in immigration enforcement and they're not welcome here. And some of the response that I've got from public officials about that strategy is it's almost like, if the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? I mean, it's a dumb analogy, but like people are worried about calling attention to Detroit and then creating a backlash. It's the same situation with this issue of Trump sending the military into cities. The mayor's administration and other folks have been hesitant to talk publicly about that because they don't want this to become a bigger issue, and then it's like the eye of Sauron turns on Detroit.
Yeah.
Right? That's the way people talk about it. So what do you think the local response, should be on this issue, and what can people on the city council and people, who are in the mayor's seat or vying for the mayor's seat, like what should they be doing in this moment?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for us is that we are really clear about our community's values and our values, where we, regardless of who you are, whether or not you're an immigrant or not, you have the right to live and move and be at a place that you love without worrying about whether or not you're going to get pulled over and get deported, or are you going to try to buy medicine and you don't have an ID, or what's happening to many other Detroiters right now where you actually can't afford to live here anymore. And I think about every day the level of risk that everyday people take, and then what do we expect from elected officials to then be able to take that same level of risk and having stances and values that have our back. And we, the people, has chosen to engage in a few key fights that feel really instrumental, where we feel that this is actually an opportunity to be able to have a relationship, a partnership with hopefully city council members who have our back, who share our values, and who are willing to enter in what we call a co-governing relationship with, where we actually have decisions and make decisions collectively about what happens with our communities.
Yeah.